As you know, I recently had an unsuccessful bull elk hunt. I was talking with a couple of friends that had cow tags for Tavaputs Ranch. They invited me to come along. I really enjoy spending time with these friends and figured it couldn't be any more unsuccessful than my last hunt. Plus, they had a lot more knowledge on how to hunt elk than I do. We had a fairly narrow window for the hunt. There was a big storm moving in. Once you get a little bit of snow up there, the hunt's pretty much over. Access just gets really difficult. So we had an evening and a morning to hunt. It was a little different hunting than I'm used to. Having access to private land is a completely different type of hunt. On public land, trying to find an elk anywhere within miles of a road gets difficult. But up here, basically the strategy is just drive around, see if you can locate them from the road, and then sneak up on them from there. We headed out for the evening. There was a bit of a brisk wind blowing. We drove out on a few ridges, didn't see anything, so we suspected they might be hiding in the canyons. As we were driving up through a canyon, we finally spotted our first herd of elk.
Yeah. There's still more coming. I've got a little gap right where I'm at, but I don't.
We couldn't get a clean shot at those elk in the timber, so we headed up the road where we spotted a couple more. We spotted parts of that herd a few more times, but they were pretty riled up and running wild and crazy. My friends are good enough sportsmen. They didn't try and take a shot at a running elk. As we all headed home, the general consensus was that we'd all had a blast, and we're glad we didn't have to take care of an elk in the dark. Just as daylight was fading, we spotted a herd of elk on a hill. We decided we'd give them a shot in the morning. The next morning, we spotted them almost immediately at first light. Once we got within shooting range, things happened really quick.
Back one. Still the back one. The front one?
Front one.
Nope. The ones that are still moving.
And just like that, the fun was over and the work began. The crew we had made quick work of the gutting. We had her cleaned out in less than 10 minutes. Then we got her in the truck and headed back to the ranch. It's important you get them cooled down pretty quick. We had the hide off in about 15 minutes of getting back to the ranch. Last thing was just to get her in quarters and hung up in the ice shed. If you want to see the whole process in detail, just click on the link. My friend was generous enough to give me half the elk, and by the next afternoon, I had about 100 pounds of elk steaks and roasts in the freezer. Can't beat that. I'd rather eat a nice tender cow than a ruddy old bull anyways, so it all worked out pretty well. Once they're all wrapped and labeled, then they're ready to go into the freezer.